When I think of a person who exemplifies all the qualities that I would want to instill in myself or that I would want to instill in my children in the future, the first person that comes to mind is my grandfather, Jedu. Jedu was a simple man who wanted nothing but the best for his children, grandchildren, and many friends. If you ever needed someone to talk to or needed someone to cheer you up, he was the person to go to. The three ideas that I believe he personified the best were service, lack of desire for material objects, and thriftiness. My grandfather was a man who believed in the great importance of service to God and to his country. He believed that the best way to show your gratitude and understanding of a greater good was to give back. The way in which my grandfather gave back to his country was through his service in the military. Although he did see combat, he oftentimes didn't glorify the fact that he did. While many veterans like to publicize the fact that they served their country, he believed that he shouldn't publicize the fact that he served because it was part of your duty of being a citizen was to protect your country and the greater good. Just like his service to his country, his service to God was just as important. Every Sunday, no matter if he was sick, the weather was bad, or if he had a lot to do, he made it an obligation to attend Mass. Every Sunday, he could be found standing in the first row saying his prayers. At church, the parishioners looked to him to see when to sit and when to stand because they knew he knew the Mass so well. In addition to being a leader of his family, he was also in many ways a guide to many of the new and old members of his church. As I stated earlier, my grandfather was a very simple and non-materialistic person. Although he could afford a larger house than what he lived in, a newer car than what he drove, and higher end clothing than what he wore, he was all the more satisfied with what he had. He never yearned to possess more. In fact, he actually found satisfaction giving away his time and money through charity and donations. Every Sunday at church, a patron would walk around with a collection basket collecting money to help support the church or whatever special collection might have been going on that week. While most people would donate a couple dollars, every week my grandfather would deposit an envelope with a check in it into the collection basket. While I will never know for sure how much money were written on these checks, I can guess that it was more than a couple dollars, and I know that he purposely put it in an envelope to hide his donation. While my grandfather was frugal, he was definitely not cheap. He was a great example of how you could spend your money correctly and still get what you wanted, but still not spend an excessive amount. He always took advantage of discounts and other deals to make sure that his money was stretched as far as it could go. An example of how my grandfather was prudent with his money was times when he would take us out to lunch on Sundays. My grandfather would often like to treat my siblings and me to lunch, but he would take us to a restaurant that was having a deal or one which he had a coupon for. He was taking us out to get food with him because he wanted to spend time with us, but it didn't hurt that he was getting a discount on the bill. My grandfather was a kind and caring person who loved his family. He was a person that all my siblings and cousins looked up to as a role model. Although he has passed away, he has instilled memories and lessons in me that I will carry with me throughout the rest of my life.